The morning sun slanted through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Novaris Technologies headquarters, painting the open-plan office in a golden haze. Rhea Mehra's workstation sat between two banks of monitors, alive with lines of code she had meticulously crafted for the platform's latest microservice update. Novaris was a fast-growing B2B SaaS company specializing in AI-driven marketing analytics, and Rhea, now in her fourth year as a senior engineer, had earned a reputation for spotting architectural flaws before they turned mission-critical. She tapped through her email backlog before joining the daily stand-up. Her team lead, Priya Desai, was already at the whiteboard, diagramming the next sprint's flow. Priya was methodical, enthusiastic, and fiercely protective of her engineers, qualities that endeared her to everyone who worked with her. Under the previous VP of Engineering, Jonathan Lee, Rhea's squad had been a tight-knit unit that tackled late-night deploys together, shared weekend hackathons, and even organized team hikes on off days. Morale was high, deadlines met, and churn was low. But today's stand-up felt different. Priya addressed the group with brisk efficiency, outlining goals and blockers. When she finished, she glanced at Rhea with a warm smile. Rhea returned it with a thumbs up. They were in sync, a partnership built on mutual respect. Then came an unfamiliar buzz in the air, a hush among the teams. Whispers of all hands in 10 rippled across the floor. Back at her desk, Rhea glanced up at the giant digital clock on the wall. 9:52 a.m. Every floor of the building would soon empty into the executive boardroom on level 12. She felt a faint tingle in her stomach. Today's all-hands didn't promise celebration. Recruitment had slowed, budgets tightened, and lately the rumor mill churned with talk of layoffs. Across the office, Priya gathered her notes. She caught Rhea's eye and mouthed, "Stay strong." Rhea nodded, though anxiety fluttered in her chest. The team piled into the elevator, greetings muffled in the mechanical hum. As the doors slid shut, Rhea caught her reflection, tie askew, eyes tense. She forced a deep breath. Whatever awaited, they'd face it together. The elevator dinged on level 12. As it opened, a hush fell over the staff. Rows of sleek white chairs faced a raised dais where the C-suite, CEO, CFO, COO, sat behind a black lacquered desk. The overhead lights were unnaturally bright, illuminating the executives' composed faces. A temporary stage and projector flanked them, displaying a stark slide. Novaris Q2 Workforce Realignment. Rhea and Priya found seats halfway back. The CEO, Naomi Wu, rose, buttoning her blazer. Her voice, practiced yet solemn, filled the room. "Good morning, Novaris team. Thank you for joining this important meeting. As we navigate a rapidly changing market, we must ensure our organization remains agile and focused on our strategic priorities. After careful review, leadership has made the difficult decision to realign our workforce to best position ourselves for long-term success." A faint murmur moved through the crowd. Priya squeezed Rhea's hand briefly. She gave a reassuring blink, but Naomi's next words confirmed their worst fears. "Over the next 2 weeks, we will reduce headcount by approximately 12% to optimize costs, reallocate resources, and streamline operations." This decision was not made lightly. We recognize our people are our greatest asset, and we are committed to supporting all impacted employees with generous severance packages, continuation of benefits, and career transition services. The slide switched to a bullet list of support measures, but Rhea's attention drifted. She recalled her own conversations with Priya just last month. "We're in a good position," Priya had said, proud of their on-time releases. And the metrics dashboard, ARR up 32%, churned down to 4%. It had been a banner quarter by every measure. Priya leaned in. "I don't believe it," she whispered. Rhea glanced down at the scrawled sprint board behind her. "User segmentation glue code, pending review." She flashed Priya a nervous half-smile. They were too productive to be marked for cuts. One by one, names began to appear. Engineers, marketers, support staff. Some Rhea barely knew, Others were friends she'd shared Thanksgiving potlucks with. Then came her shock. Priya Desai. Priya's mouth dropped open. She inhaled sharply, eyes filling. Rhea felt her heart lurch. After the meeting ended, the boardroom doors opened, and the staff drifted out in subdued clusters. Rhea and Priya remained seated, stunned. Eventually, the CFO, Henry Oliver, signaled them to approach. Rhea led Priya forward, silent tears glistening on her cheeks. "I'm so sorry," Rhea said, voice hoarse. But there were no words. At Henry's desk, Priya received a formal severance packet. Rhea watched as she scanned the documents. 2 months' pay, continued health coverage for 90 days, an outplacement service voucher. All the kindness in the world wouldn't change that she'd been cast aside. Priya gripped Rhea's hand one last time. "Thank you for everything," she whispered. Then she turned and walked away, her shoulders rigid. Rhea felt as though the floor had dropped out. Over the next hour, Rhea and her remaining teammates huddled in the empty meeting room. Soft sobs echoed off the glass walls. The official rationale, cost-cutting. But there was something else gnawing at Rhea. Several of the departed were people who had publicly supported the former VP, Jonathan Lee. When Jonathan had been forced out under vaguely worded performance concerns 3 months prior, Rhea had noticed an exodus of his inner circle. Now, those same faces glowed on the layoff slide. She pulled up the org chart on her laptop. A clear pattern emerged. Every vestige of Jonathan's team was being excised. The performance excuse was a cover for a political purge, one engineered by the newly installed leadership to consolidate power. Priya, an outspoken advocate for Jonathan's vision of transparent engineering practices, had paid the price. Fury flared in Rhea's chest. "This is wrong," she muttered. Her closest friend, engineer Marco Liu, leaned over. "Keep your head down, Rhea," Marco advised. "They're ruthless. You won't survive standing out." Rhea closed her eyes. She knew Marco was right. Political purges were a quick way to send fear rippling through the ranks. Yet she felt a moral imperative she couldn't ignore. So many brilliant people had been cast aside in neat legalese. It wasn't just Priya. It was every person with a dissenting voice or an allegiance to the old guard. She spent the rest of the day in a daze, trying to focus on code reviews, but unable to shake the injustice. By late afternoon, rumors began circulating about an all-hands thank you breakfast on Friday. Rhea clenched her jaw. How could they pretend gratitude now? Priya had been among their best. 2 days later, Rhea arrived early to the cafeteria, hoping to confront HR or a sympathetic exec. The tables had been rearranged into long banquet rows, topped with croissants, egg frittatas, fruit platters. A large banner proclaimed, "Thank you for your dedication." Employees filtered in, greeting each other with awkward smiles. Rhea spotted Naomi Wu standing by the buffet, handing out coffee. She took a deep breath and approached. "Naomi," Rhea began, keeping her voice steady. She turned, offering a practiced smile. Rhea saw a flicker of wariness in her eyes. "Rhea, good to see you. Enjoying the breakfast?" she asked. She gestured toward the empty seat beside her. "May I sit?" Naomi nodded. Rhea sat, her hands folded. "I have to ask," she said quietly, "how is it that we can call this a thank you breakfast when so many were let go just days ago, many of whom, like Priya, were top performers? It feels disingenuous." Naomi's smile tightened. "I understand how upsetting this has been, Rhea, but these measures were necessary to ensure the company's future. We are grateful for the contributions of everyone, past and present." Rhea leaned forward. "But the message sent is that loyalty to the previous VP's vision meant you were expendable. This isn't just cost-cutting, it's consolidating power by removing anyone with different viewpoints. That's toxic." Naomi's gaze sharpened. She glanced around, ensuring no one else was overhearing. There are always differences in strategic direction when leadership changes. Decisions had to be made in the best interest of the company. Best interest is a convenient term when you remove dissenters under the guise of budget, Rhea pressed. Priya was a pillar of this team. We all know the narrative being sold doesn't match reality. Naomi placed her hand on the table, her voice calm but icy. I appreciate your passion for your colleagues, but these decisions are final. You have a role to play in supporting this new direction. If you'd prefer, you're welcome to explore opportunities outside Novaris. Her unspoken threat hung in the air. Continue to challenge, and she'd be next. Rhea's pulse thundered. She realized there was no ally in the C-suite, only loyalists. She rose, tension coiling like steel. Thank you for your time, she said, voice cold. Enjoy the frittatas. She left, head held high but heart pounding. She had spoken truth to power, and now she risked losing her own position. The following morning, Rhea's inbox contained 3 terse items: a calendar invite to an immediate performance check-in, a message from HR requesting an updated resume for succession planning, and a cryptic note from her manager, Elaine Chen. Please come see me in my office. The warning bells rang in her mind. Elaine's office overlooked the corporate atrium. Her face was inscrutable as Rhea entered. She closed the door behind her. Rhea, she began softly, I've received feedback that you might be feeling unsettled after the recent layoffs. She motioned to the chair. Please, have a seat. She sat, folding her arms. Elaine continued. Our leadership takes concerns seriously, so I've scheduled a performance review with the VP of Engineering tomorrow morning to discuss your transition plan, whether within Novaris or beyond. Rhea let out a slow breath. So you're giving me the chance to resign rather than be fired? She hesitated. This is standard procedure when an employee expresses dissatisfaction. We prefer to find a solution amicably. Her mind raced through options. She could apologize, toe the line, and hope to survive another quarter. Or she could walk away on her terms. She recalled Naomi's thinly veiled threat over frittatas. The choice crystallized: stay and lose her integrity, or leave and preserve it. I appreciate the offer, she said after a moment, but I think it's best I move on. Elaine's lips pressed into a tight line. Rhea stood, and she allowed her to leave without protest. That afternoon, Rhea packed her belongings: framed team photos, a desk plant gifted by Priya, her favorite mug. As she stepped through the open office, colleagues offered curt nods and hushed goodbyes. She passed the empty chair where Priya once sat and gave it a silent salute. Outside, the late afternoon sun felt generous on her face. Rhea exhaled, tension receding. She walked to her parked sedan, inserted the key into the ignition, and sat a moment in the quiet. The city skyline stretched ahead, towering glass spires that gleamed with corporate triumphs and hidden betrayals alike. She thought of Priya, starting her job hunt, and the others uprooted by political maneuvering. They were more than headcount metrics. They were innovators whose voices had been stifled. Rhea tapped at her phone, sending a quick message to Priya. I'm okay. Let's catch up next week. Coffee's on me. As she drove away from Novaris, Rhea felt a bittersweet pride. She had lost her job, but not her conscience. In an industry where loyalty was pitted against ambition and transparency drowned in polished PowerPoints, she chose integrity. The road ahead was uncertain, but she was determined to find, or build, a place where merit and honesty mattered. And in that resolve, Rhea found a measure of hope.